Kiajah O'Neal did not have a lump, but she did have a gut feeling, and today she is so thankful that she trusted it and her angels along the way. During this Breast Cancer Awareness Month, she wants other women to know that they should always do the same thing.
When I got that phone call, the first thing the enemy told me was that I was going to die.
At 46, to Kiajah O'Neal, a cancer diagnosis meant death. Why was death the first thing you thought of?
My mom passed in February of 2016, and I was receiving this news just months later in August of 2016. And so my mom and all of her sisters, they were diagnosed with different forms of cancer, literally like a month apart from one another. And then I found out a really, really close friend of mine, she was diagnosed with breast cancer as well.
Her close friend died just 5 days after her mom, and with a list like that, Kiajah felt heavy. Her defeat felt heavier.
Nobody had beat it. And so that's why I had that overwhelming fear that, I too would become a statistic of breast cancer.
Research shows Black women have a 40% higher chance of dying from breast cancer. And this year, the American Cancer Society says there will be more than 300,000 new breast cancer patients. Like so many women, she opted for a double mastectomy.
To lose both of the breasts, it was devastating. And then just looking in the mirror afterwards and seeing the scars, it's always a constant reminder.
But it's how she learned of her diagnosis that fueled her strength.
Advocate. Advocate, advocate, advocate for yourself.
New to DFW at the time, Kiajah followed a referral, but she didn't get what she asked for.
I went into his office weeping and crying, saying, I just wanted to come and get a mammogram because I have just lost my mom to breast cancer. And immediately he brushed me off and said, oh, you're too young. You don't need that. You're too young. And we actually went back and forth in his office. I left crying because he refused to give me a mammogram.
But her angels helped her fight another way.
I was at work and an older Black woman, I don't even remember her name, she came and asked, could she sit next to me while I was eating lunch? And I, told her, yeah, I don't mind. Totally broke down, began to cry. And I told her I had just lost my mom to breast cancer. And she told me, well, baby, I'm a 2-time breast cancer survivor.
That unexpected kindness pushed her back to an unexpected place, and she was ready to fight.
So I went back to the doctor that rejected me, and hesitantly enough, he decided, you know what, I'll just go ahead and give it to you. So he wrote the order for the mammogram.
A couple weeks later, the nurse calls.
We think you should see a specialist. And I continued to ask the nurse more questions, and she kind of had an attitude, and she said, well, you don't have to, but you can just wait for your 6-month appointment.
Trusting her instinct and tired of feeling ignored, she remembered her work angel and the doctor's card she'd slipped her on that day at lunch. She made an appointment.
I'm in there crying, telling her everything that's going on, my fears, and she tells me, you know what, we're gonna go a step further because mammograms don't always show everything. She sent me to get the breast MRI. They called me and told me, we need you to go get biopsied immediately. I went and got biopsied on a Friday. They called me that Tuesday and told me that I had breast cancer. I feel like had I waited the 6 months, I probably would not be here because I initially was diagnosed at stage 0.
Although stage 0 is the earliest stage of breast cancer, if it's not detected and treated as early as it's caught, it can spread to surrounding breast tissue. And with her family history, that could have complicated her diagnosis. But feeling grateful and relieved with her new doctor taking action, she was treated with chemotherapy.
The doctor came in, said the surgery went well, we got everything that we saw, but unfortunately, the cancer is very aggressive, so it advanced to stage 1.
But the real fight isn't a new one. It's one that never ends and starts from within.
As Black women, we need to advocate for ourselves.
Why do you think the doctor refused to give you the mammogram?
Because of what we portray on the outside, people don't necessarily, they forget that we go through and just think that we have this strong superwoman persona. And I can definitely say I don't look like what I've been through, and I'm thankful for that. But I feel like sometimes we don't get the protection and the empathy that we deserve.
What would you want to tell your mom about making it to the other side of your journey?
Thank you. Thank you for watching over me. Thank you for for fighting. She never complained. Just thank you for being my mom.
These thriver stories, as she calls them, are the soundtrack to Shell's purpose. As a permanent makeup artist, she transforms these women's pain into empowerment.
When she actually handed me the mirror and I saw it, I started crying. I started crying because it made me feel, more feminine again.
More feminine again, and always trust your gut, right? Tonight at 10, you're gonna meet Shell. You're gonna learn more about her and her art practice, and you'll meet another breast cancer thriver, as she calls them. You'll see in real time how she is transforming their surgery scars into healing art.